Human, please. You have to help me and my 7 kids, the starving alien woman gasped, her voice a series of throaty clicks and guttural pleas. Kyle coughed, a wet metallic tang filling his mouth as he struggled to pull himself from the wreckage of the drifter. His entire left side screamed, the heat of the crashed atmospheric skiff scorching his already raw skin. He blinked, the twin moons of Xylos 3 casting long, distorted shadows across the jagged, crystalline landscape. The air, thick with mineral dust and something vaguely organic, tasted like regret. 7 kids? He croaked, pushing himself up on one elbow. His vision swam, a kaleidoscope of pain and alien flora. He could barely make out the alien standing over him, her silhouette lit by the dying embers of his engine. She was tall, impossibly so, with broad shoulders and a lean, predatory grace. Her form shimmered, a bioluminescent tracery visible beneath what looked like worn, living armor, pulsing faintly with a deep violet light. A predator, but her words were desperate. Yes, they starve. The elders, they hunt me for them. You are here. You must be for me. Her glowing, multifaceted eyes, the color of crushed obsidian, fixed on him with an intensity that bordered on painful. He tried to laugh, but it came out as a choked gurgle. Lady, I just crash-landed. I'm a scavenger, not a goddamn babysitter, and certainly not for anyone. The alien female took a step closer. Her hand, clawed and surprisingly delicate, reached for his neck. A hum vibrated in her throat, a low, unnerving growl. You are male. You are intact. My hatchlings require a provider, a protector. The ritual demands it. You will come. Her grip was firm, not violent, but utterly unyielding. Gael felt a jolt of alarm, and something else. A strange primal pull he immediately tried to squash. This was insane. He was bleeding out on some forgotten hell rock, and an alien empress in disguise was trying to draft him into fatherhood. He braced himself, scanning the horizon. This wasn't just some random encounter. The desperation in her voice, the urgency in her eyes, the very explicit mention of elders and hunting. He was caught in something deep, messy, and potentially fatal. A low, guttural roar echoed from the distant canyons, not from his ship, but from something large, very large. Right, Kale muttered, his sarcasm a shield. Lead the way then, Mama Bear. Just so we're clear, my childcare experience is limited to not dying. Move, human. Your babysitter is irrelevant. Survival is paramount. Lyra yanked Kale to his feet with surprising ease, his joints protesting with a sickening crunch. He winced, sucking in a sharp breath. Her glowing eyes narrowed, scanning the jagged peaks that pierced the blood-orange sky. The roar came again, closer this time, accompanied by the rumble of heavy treads. The elders send their trackers. They crave my bloodline, my seed. Kyle blinked. You're what now? Look, I'm just a guy who flew off course. I don't know your intergalactic family drama, and frankly, I don't want to. Can we just find a cave or something before whatever's making that noise finds us? Lyra ignored his protests, already half dragging him towards a narrow fissure in the rock face, barely wide enough for his shoulders. Her grip on his arm tightened, her claws just pricking his skin. You are Kyle, are you not? The ship's registry identified you. The fates have delivered you. Your purpose is clear. Kyle stumbled, trying to keep pace. My purpose is getting off this rock and not becoming alien chow. How the hell do you know my name? And what fates? I crashed. Pure, unadulterated dumb luck. Lyra paused at the fissure's entrance, her head cocked, listening. The humming in her throat intensified, resonating through his arm. Luck is a human concept. There is only destiny and need. My people, these Elotians, value, contribution. You will contribute. Her eyes swept over his body, a slow, appraising gaze that made his skin prickle. It wasn't just primal, it was unnervingly personal. Your form is acceptable. For the ritual, it will sustain them. Kale felt a flush rise to his neck. Sustain who? And what ritual? Are you talking about breeding? Because if so, I need to remind you, I just met you. And also, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. You don't just select some random crash victim for a goddamn mating ritual. Lyra's head tilted, a flash of something akin to amusement in her glowing eyes. Mating is simple. Survival is not. My hatchlings require new blood. You are new. Now enter. They are almost upon us. The rumbling grew louder, and the ground began to vibrate beneath Cale's feet. He cursed under his breath. Fine, but don't expect me to hum a lullaby. And for the record, this is a terrible first date. They squeezed into the narrow fissure, Cale's shoulders scraping against the rough, mineral-streaked rock. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and Lyra's strange, musky scent. It was surprisingly intimate in the confined space. Their bodies pressed together as they edged deeper into the cool darkness. Cale could feel the subtle tremors of the approaching trackers from outside. "All right, spill," he whispered, his voice tight. "What exactly did I crash into? And why are elders hunting you and your 7 kids?" Lyra's glowing patterns on her skin pulsed faster, a visual representation of her agitation. "This is the sanctuary of whispers, a place of ancient rituals. My people, the Lyranth, built it. The elders, they control the great hive. They deemed me unfit to rule, to continue the bloodline, because I chose a different path for my hatchlings, a path of freedom." Her voice, usually commanding, held a tremor of raw vulnerability. "They demand my return, to purify me and to take my progeny, to enforce their will. They are patriarchs. They believe only their chosen blood may rule, and they despise diversity." Cale felt a pang of something akin to sympathy, despite the absurdity of the situation. "Diversity? Is that what I am to you? A diversity pick for baby daddy?" Lyra turned her head, her glowing eyes fixing on him in the gloom. "You are virile and unbound. Their chosen blood is weak, inbred. My hatchlings need strength, new, genetic material. You possess it." Her gaze dropped to his groin, lingering for a fraction of a second too long. Cale shifted uncomfortably, the blush deepening despite the darkness. "Right, well, good to know I'm genetically superior. Just wish I'd brought a dating profile." A deep, rhythmic thudding echoed through the rock, closer now, accompanied by metallic scrapes. "They send the reclaimers. Their claw beasts can scent our life signs. We must descend deeper." Lyra's voice was a low growl, her hand finding his in the dark, pulling him down a steep, treacherous path. The cold rock against his skin, her hot, musky scent, the terrifying thudding from above. It was a sensory overload. His heart hammered, not just from fear, but from the unsettling proximity to this desperate, alien empress. They descended into a subterranean labyrinth, the air growing heavier, warmer, carrying the faint metallic tang of volcanic activity. Glowing fungal growths illuminated their path, casting eerie shadows that twisted around Lyra's shifting form. Cale's body ached, but the adrenaline kept him moving. Lyra, despite her earlier desperation, seemed to regain a measure of her imperious composure down here, her movements fluid and confident. "These passages," she explained, her voice resonating slightly in the confined space, "they lead to the sunken crucible, where our most sacred rites are performed. The elders cannot follow here, not easily." She paused, placing a hand on a pulsating bioluminescent wall. "My hatchlings, they are safe for now. Hidden, but their hunger, it grows. They feel my distress." Cale tried to catch his breath. "So, let me get this straight. You're an exiled empress on the run from your patriarchal elders, trying to take over your bloodline, which means your kids, and I'm supposed to be your genetic donation for survival? This isn't exactly the kind of sanctuary I had in mind when my ship logged this planet." Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes intense in the dim light. "You misunderstand. You are not a donation. You are a catalyst. For the ritual. For the claiming. My people, they believe power is transferred through intimate contact, through the joining. My bloodline is weakened. It requires renewal. Your vitality. It will ensure their strength. The elders seek to control fertility, to control all life." She moved closer, her scent enveloping him. "You are unclaimed by any other female. Your life force, It sings to my own, to my children. Kyle felt a jolt. My life force sings. What is that, some kind of alien pickup line? Look, I get you're desperate, but I'm not some, stud service? I have limits and boundaries. Lyra's head tilted, her humming throat nodes flaring faintly. Boundaries. Human custom. You have crashed upon my lands. You possess the potential I require. To refuse is to condemn my hatchlings and yourself. The crucible. It calls us for the joining, for the true claiming. It is the only way. He felt a strange heat bloom in his chest, a reaction he couldn't attribute to the rising temperatures of the subterranean caverns. His gaze locked with hers, and for a moment, he saw past the Empress, past the warrior, to the raw, fierce desperation of a mother. And something in him, deep and unexpected, stirred. The air grew thick with the scent of ozone and minerals, heated by distant lava flows. Lyra led them into a vast, cavernous space, its walls shimmering with crystalline formations that caught the light from fiery vents. This was the sunken crucible. A low, resonant hum filled the chamber, seeming to emanate from the very rock. Lyra's bioluminescent patterns flared to life, casting an ethereal glow around her, her skin pulsing with vibrant violet and crimson. The crucible, it knows us, she murmured, her voice deeper, more resonant. It recognizes the need, the imperative. She turned to Kale, her eyes piercing. The claiming begins now. Kale felt a strange internal pull, as if his own energy was being drawn towards her, a disorienting magnetic force. He fought against it, digging his heels into the gravelly floor. Whoa, hold on. The claiming? What is this, some kind of territorial dispute? I'm not a piece of real estate, Empress. Lyra took a step towards him, then another, her movements slow, deliberate, like a predator circling its prey. You are mine now. Your essence, it resonates with my lineage. The elders seek to bind me with their chosen, to force sterile unions. You are pure wild potential. Your scent, it marks you. She reached out, her clawed hand brushing against his chest just above his heart. A jolt like static electricity shot through him, making him gasp. It wasn't painful, but intensely disorienting. A strange warmth spreading outwards from her touch. My scent, Kyle muttered, his mind reeling. Lady, I haven't showered in days. That's just desperation, not pheromones. Lyra's lips, surprisingly soft beneath the hardened ridge of her jaw, curved into a predatory smile. Desperation often breeds the strongest bonds, human. The crucible, it amplifies, it ensures. Your body, it trembles, it yearns for the union, for the purpose. She moved closer, invading his personal space until he could feel the heat radiating from her. Her hum deepened, and he felt it resonate in his own bones. A strange, undeniable hum. His entire body felt alive, hypersensitive. Lyra's fingers traced the line of his jaw, then slid down his throat. My hatchlings call. They require the joining, the complete fusion. Her eyes glowed fiercely, dominating him. He wanted to push her away, to shout, to run, but his limbs felt heavy, his mind clouded by the raw, insistent pull. Lyra was no longer desperate. She was commanding. And in this ancient, glowing chamber, with the very ground thrumming beneath them, Kale felt his resistance begin to crumble. Lyra's breath, warm and musky, ghosted across his lips. Her humming deepened, a primal thrum that vibrated through Kale's very bones, making his muscles twitch involuntarily. Her glowing eyes were portals to a savage, ancient need. The crucible grants permission, Lyra whispered, her voice a low growl that was more felt than heard. It recognizes the truth. You are chosen for the true joining. Her hands, surprisingly gentle yet firm, moved to the fastenings of his scavenged jumpsuit, tearing the already weakened fabric with a decisive rip. The cool air of the cavern hit his skin, but the heat emanating from Lyra consumed him. Lyra's gaze raked over his exposed chest, her fingers tracing the scars and lean muscle. Your form is rugged, resilient, a testament to survival. Her touch was not a caress, but an appraisal, a claiming, a warrior assessing her prize. Kyle swallowed hard, his throat dry. His mind screamed protest, but his body, caught in the strange, thrumming resonance, betrayed him. He felt an undeniable surge of heat, a primitive throb that silenced his sarcasm. Lyra moved against him, her hardened armor plates pressing into his flesh, the bioluminescent patterns on her skin flaring and swirling in a dizzying display. A low, guttural moan escaped her, more animal than articulate as she pressed her hips against his, aligning their bodies with an instinctual precision. "This is not surrender, human," she rasped, her voice thick with ancient purpose. "This is claiming. This is the ritual for my blood, for my hatchlings, for the future." She pulled him close, her strength absolute, her lips crushing against his in a bruising, possessive kiss. It was raw, urgent, and without tenderness, a joining of pure, untamed need. Kyle found himself responding, his hands gripping her waist, feeling the supple strength beneath her shifting plates. The hum intensified, a powerful surge of energy that coursed through him, synchronizing with her every move. This wasn't just physical. It was a bizarre telepathic resonance, a direct communion of primal instincts. Her legs wrapped around his waist, lifting him effortlessly as she pushed him against a glowing, pulsating wall. Lyra's body shuddered, her throat nodes glowing fiercely. Now, complete the joining. For us. For them. The primal demand, the sheer animalistic force of her, shattered any remaining resistance. Kale surged against her, lost in the overwhelming tide of instinct and the strange, undeniable bond that flared between them in the heart of the sunken crucible. Every nerve ending screamed, not just with pleasure, but with a profound, terrifying sense of belonging. Lyra arched against him, her body convulsing with a series of deep guttural sounds, a new bioluminescent mark, like a twin spiral, appearing on her inner thigh where their bodies connected. The aftershocks left Kale gasping, pressed against the cool, damp rock. Lyra lay beside him, her bioluminescent patterns still swirling, but at a more languid pace. The hum in the crucible had subsided to a low, comforting thrum. He felt spent and, strangely, deeply connected to her, a terrifying, visceral bond he couldn't explain. He pushed himself up on a shaky elbow, his voice rough. Well, that was certainly a way to kick off a relationship, or whatever the hell that was. Are we married now? Is this how you Zilosians do it? No flowers, no awkward small talk, just primal urges in a cave? Lyra stirred, turning her head to look at him, her obsidian eyes softer, more vulnerable than he'd seen them. The joining is complete, the bond established. You are marked as mine, as provider. She pushed herself up, her naked form still radiating a faint glow. There is no marriage in our tongue, human. Only recognition of purpose, of a shared future. And we of the children. Kyle frowned. The kids. Right. So, about these 7 kids. You gonna elaborate? Because this is a lot to spring on a guy. Lyra's gaze drifted to the distant, pulsating walls of the crucible. They are not my offspring, human. Kyle blinked, sitting bolt upright. What? You've been dragging me through hell talking about hatchlings and bloodlines and needing a provider, and they're not yours? Lyra turned back to him, her glowing eyes holding a deep, ancient sorrow. They are my responsibility, my lineage. 7 younglings unhatched, the last of my true bloodline, the elders. They demand all fertile females be bred with their chosen males. To ensure compliance, to control the future. I refused. I stole the clutch, the 7 eggs, my unborn kin. I fled to the sanctuary seeking a mate strong enough, vital enough to truly bond with the lineage, to ensure their strength, to defy the elders' weak blood. You were drawn here. The fates, or perhaps my ancestors, guided you. You are the chosen sire for my house, for my children. They are not yet born, but soon. The crucible accelerates the hatching once the bond is forged. You have bonded with them, through me. Kale stared at her, dumbfounded. You mean, I just knocked up 7 eggs? His head spun. This was worse somehow, so much worse. A low, guttural growl vibrated through the crucible, echoing through the chamber. This time, it wasn't the distant rumble of the reclaimers, but a sound from within the very rock. Lyra stiffened, her bioluminescent patterns flaring wildly. They found a path. The elders. They send their chieftains. She rose, her body tensing, her previous vulnerability replaced by an iron resolve. They will demand my return, and the eggs. But you have claimed the lineage, you are bound. Kyle scrambled to his feet, pulling at the tattered remnants of his jumpsuit. Claimed? Bound? Lyra, I just had sex in a cave with a literal empress in exile, who just told me I'm the biological father of 7 alien eggs. I think confused is a better term than bound right now. Lyra ignored him, her attention fixed on an opening high above them, where a harsh, artificial light began to penetrate the natural gloom of the crucible. Figures, massive and armored, began to descend on ropes of woven bioluminescent fibers. They were Lyranth, like her, but their armor was darker, more ornate, and bore the symbols of the elder houses. They are here to enforce their claim, Lyra stated, her voice hardening. They will offer me a choice, to submit and allow their sons to defile my bloodline, or to fight with you. Kyle swallowed, his gaze darting between the descending figures and Lyra's rigid stance. Fight? With me? Look, I'm good in a bar brawl maybe, but these guys look like they eat bar brawls for breakfast, and probably the bar too. Lyra turned to him, her gaze intense, her hand reaching for his, her touch surprisingly comforting amidst the rising tension. You are more than a bar brawler, Kyle. You carry the mark. The Crucible recognizes your worth. Your life force has been joined with my unborn children. They will sense your presence, your dominance. It will infuriate the elders. They despise such unconventional unions. Her lips curved into a fierce, almost savage smile. Good. Let them rage. We will show them the strength of a true lineage, a strength they cannot control. She stepped forward towards the center of the crucible, her stance defiant. They will see that my choice is now yours as well. You are my consort, my mate, my protector, and the father of my brood. Kale felt a jolt of alarm, a flash of pure terror at the implications of her declaration. His choice was rapidly narrowing. The first of the elder chieftains landed with a heavy thud, his ornate armor clanking, his eyes glowing with cold fury. He was massive, twice Kale's size, with a humming throat node that pulsed with aggression. Lyra, you defy the sacred law. You have taken a foreigner to defile the bloodline. His voice reverberated through the crucible, thick with condemnation. Lyra stepped forward, shielding Kale with her body, her own glowing patterns flaring in challenge. He is no foreigner, Elder Boric. He is the chosen sire marked by the crucible. His essence flows through my lineage. He is claimed. Boric's gaze fell on Kyle, sweeping over his form with undisguised contempt. A soft-skinned off-worlder? This is your defiance? A common scavenger to continue the Lyranth line? The hatchlings will be weak, tainted. Kyle bristled, stepping out from behind Lyra, a sarcastic sneer on his face. Hey, watch it, Grandpa. Common scavenger just saved your empress from bleeding out, and I'm pretty sure my tainted genes are what your precious pure bloodline needs right about now. Besides, I'm pretty sure soft-skinned is better than inbred patriarchal fossil. Boric roared, his claws flexing. Insolent vermin! You dare insult an elder of the Great Hive? Lyra's hand clamped down on Kyle's arm, a warning in her touch. He dares because he is mine, and his defiance is my defiance. You seek to control life, Boric, to stifle the future. My eggs will not be a tool for your power games. They will hatch strong and free. Boric's eyes narrowed. Then you will prove it, Lyra. By combat, by ritual, you and your chosen outsider. If you defeat my champions, your unconventional union will be acknowledged. If you fail, the eggs return to the hive, and you, Lyra, will face the purification rites. Your mate will be sacrificed to the crucible. Kale felt his blood run cold. Sacrifice to the crucible. That sounded permanent. Lyra merely smiled, a fierce, predatory baring of teeth. So be it, Elder. Let the crucible judge. Let the blood prove its worth. She turned to Kale, her glowing eyes holding a fierce challenge but also a deep unspoken trust. You are with me, human. Truly. Kale looked at the towering alien chieftain, then at Lyra, her hand still on his arm, her gaze unwavering. He had no choice. But somehow in that moment he realized he didn't want a choice. "Yeah," he muttered, managing a faint, ironic grin. "Guess I'm in too deep to bail now. Just try not to get me killed, Empress. The kids are counting on us." The combat was brutal, primal. Boric sent 2 of his elite warriors, massive Lyranth armed with glowing sonic blades. Kale, with only his wits and a scavenged plasma pistol, fought alongside Lyra. He moved with a street fighter's instinct, dodging, weaving, aiming for weak points, while Lyra, a blur of bioluminescent power, engaged in a furious, elegant dance of death. Her hum deepened, radiating pure ferocity as she deflected blows with her armored forearms, her claws tearing through the warrior's lesser armor. Lyra's blows were precise, devastating. She fought with a desperate grace, her eyes locked on Kale even as she moved. The crucible thrummed, its heat rising, feeding their intensity. Kale, fueled by a strange surge of energy from their recent bond, found himself moving with unexpected speed. He blinded one warrior with a plasma burst, giving Lyra the opening she needed to disarm and pin him, her foot on his chest, her hum a triumphant roar. The second warrior, enraged, charged Kale. He braced himself, expecting to be crushed, but Lyra was there in an instant, a flash of violet light intercepting the blow. She met the warrior's charge head-on, her strength astonishing, and with a guttural cry she slammed him back against a crystalline wall, knocking him unconscious. Beric stood stunned, his face a mask of disbelief. "Impossible! Your strength is renewed!" Lyra turned to him, her chest heaving, her eyes blazing. "The crucible ensures it, Elder. The lineage is strengthened. By this human. By his blood. By our bond." She pulled Kyle forward, positioning him directly in front of her, her hand resting possessively on his shoulder. "He is Kale, my consort, father of the new brood. Our union is complete, our claim unassailable." Boric, defeated, finally bowed his head, his own humming throat nodes emitting a low sound of submission. "The crucible has spoken. The ritual is complete. Your choice, Lyra, is acknowledged. The eggs are yours. The bond is sealed." Lyra looked at Kale, her eyes softening, a hint of something warm and deep replacing the warrior's fury. "Our future, Kale. For the 7. And for us." Kale, bruised and battered, managed a tired, sarcastic grin. "Guess I'm stuck with you then, Empress. And 7 tiny terror eggs. Just promise me when they hatch, they don't inherit your love for impromptu cave sex and death matches." Lyra's lips curved into a soft, genuine smile, a flash of fierce pride in her eyes. "Only my strength, human, and your indelible mark. Now come. The eggs await their father's touch. Our work has only just begun." The sound of the Elder's retreat echoed through the crucible, leaving Lyra and Kale in the thrumming silence of their triumph. Kale still felt the strange resonance of their bond, a persistent hum that settled deep in his chest. Lyra, though victorious, seemed to sag slightly, the adrenaline fading. She led him to a recessed alcove, where a cluster of 7 large, pulsating ovate forms rested on a bed of glowing moss. The eggs themselves were bioluminescent, mirroring Lyra's own patterns, each a vibrant, shifting canvas of violet and crimson. "My true treasures," Lyra whispered, her voice thick with emotion, her hand gently caressing one of the large eggs. "The last pure lineage of my house. They will know freedom and strength." Kyle knelt beside her, a strange mix of awe and bewildered panic swirling inside him. These were the 7 kids, his new alien unhatched children. He reached out hesitantly and touched the smooth, warm surface of an egg. He felt a faint tremor, a tiny pulse from within. A surge of protectiveness, foreign and powerful, washed over him. "They're beautiful," he admitted, the sarcasm gone from his voice, replaced by a genuine wonder. "So what now? Do we just wait? Are they going to hatch into tiny, angry warriors who want to challenge me to a dominance ritual for my snacks?" Lyra chuckled, a low, throaty sound that resonated warmly. "They will know their father's scent, his essence, and they will grow strong. We will establish a new hive, away from the elders, a place where our lineage can thrive, unbound." She turned to him, her glowing eyes filled with a potent mix of reverence and ownership. "You are Home, Kale. Your purpose is now clear. You are my mate, my consort, and the progenitor of a new powerful line. The future of Lyranth rests on our bond. She leaned in, pressing her forehead against his, a ritualistic gesture that sent a jolt of connection through him. You will learn our ways. I will learn yours. But know this, Kyle. You are truly claimed, for all time, and your strength, it is mine. Our shared fate. Kyle sighed, a long, weary exhalation, but a faint, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips. He was stuck, royally, with an alien empress, 7 glowing eggs, and a future he couldn't have possibly imagined. But looking into Lyra's fierce, vulnerable eyes, and feeling the strange, undeniable pull of their bond, he realized it might not be the worst damn thing that had ever happened to him. He was a scavenger, and he'd just found the biggest, strangest, most dangerous treasure of his life. "All right, Empress," he said, his voice rough but tinged with a new, quiet acceptance. "Just point me to the nursery, and try to remember I'm more of a strong, silent type. No more public proclamations, okay, for now." The next few cycles were a blur of intense activity, a strange domesticity settling into the ancient crucible. Lyra, though still the commanding empress, revealed layers of nurturing instinct as she prepared the hatching chamber for the eggs. Kyle, against all his expectations, found himself falling into a rhythm. He scavenged for materials outside the crucible, using his knowledge of ancient tech to rig environmental controls, making the chamber perfect for the incubating eggs. Lyra's bioluminescent patterns, once fierce indicators of her rage or desire, now often pulsed with calm contentment, especially when she was near the clutch. "The hatchlings stir," she announced one cycle, her voice a low hum of excitement, her hand resting on Kale's arm. "They sense your presence, Kale, your vitality." Kale grunted, wiping sweat from his brow as he secured a heat vent. "Hope they like my vitality, because that's all they're getting for a while." "This nesting stuff is exhausting," Lyra chuckled, a sound that sent a pleasant shiver down his spine. She leaned closer, her scent enveloping him. "It is the work of a true mate, human, a consort who provides. You adapt well to your purpose." He rolled his eyes, but a smile tugged at his lips. Yeah, just make sure the purpose includes not getting us all killed by your disgruntled elders. Or, having to explain alien puberty to 7 kids all at once." Lyra's eyes softened, a rare moment of unguarded emotion. "They will know strength and truth. They will be safe. Because of you, Kyle." Her hand, once a tool for claiming and battle, now rested gently on his cheek. "My gratitude is profound, and my respect. Your wildness in it has tempered my own, and forged a stronger future." Kyle felt a warmth spread through him, a feeling far deeper than the crucible's heat. He looked at Lyra, truly looked at her, the savage empress, the desperate mother, the dominant mate. He was no longer just a scavenger. He was part of something bigger, something dangerous and incredibly alive. "Just don't expect me to wear a skirt to the next family gathering," he grumbled, his voice rough but tinged with affection. Lyra's hum deepened, a low, satisfied rumble. "Perhaps a kilt. It would suit your ruggedness, my consort." The crucible thrummed around them, a silent witness to their strange, profound union. The eggs pulsed with new life, awaiting their birth. And for the first time in a long time, Kale felt truly, unequivocally home.